Like Frederick said, if you haven't got up and put your plate away, you can do that. And there's some extra desserts over here that you can fill your tummy up with, but don't fall asleep on us. So I'll be back shortly. Thank you. I forgot to mention there is coffee in the back for those of you who would like something to drink. Coffee. Good evening, everyone. All right. Well, welcome to the Gerholz Center, the 2022 annual fundraiser. I am your MC tonight. My name is Erica McMurtry, and I am the director of the Gerholz Center. Since our theme this year is Know Your Neighbor, I hope that you were able to get to know some of your neighbors that were around you at dinner tonight. Now, for our online viewers, help us to get to know you. So we want you to interact with us this evening in the chat. So tell us hello. Josh is back there. He's manning the chat. So don't let him be all lonely in the chat by himself. So come on, just throw some hands up and just throw smiles his way. So since our theme this evening is Know Your Neighbor, I want every attendee to feel special tonight, especially for those who are sitting around you. So for our online viewers, I want you to feel special in that virtual space. So in honor of tonight's theme, I want you to sing to your neighbor. And what better song than to sing Mr. Rogers' Won't You Be My Neighbor? So for those of you who have your program, you have the words in your program, and Josh will put them up on the screen for those of you who are at home. Yes, Mr. Rogers. So the first time around, we are going to just practice. And the second time around, I want you to sing it with all your might. Sing to your neighbors around you. All right, Josh? You can cue it up now.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this misty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
All right. Now,
Neighbors are people who are close to us. And friends are people who are close to us.
We can do better than that, right? I want your neighbor to really feel it, you know? So, Josh, cue it up again.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. It's a neighborly day in this misty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
All right, give your hands a
Neighbors
round of
are people who are
applause.
close to us. And friends are people who are close to our hearts.
I hope you felt the love coming from your neighbor and those in our virtual space. I hope you felt the love coming through the virtual space. So Mr. Rogers' neighborhood TV show made people, especially children, feel good. And he was kind to all that he encountered. So it is our hope that you feel good tonight and that you have been shown some kindness through our staff or next to your neighbor. I hope they're showing you some kindness now, or even at the table across from you. I hope you receive some kindness tonight. So I want to thank the kindness of our sponsors that we have here tonight. So this evening would not have been possible without your support. So we have Bill and Peggy Anderson, Andrew and Sharon Armstrong, Communication Technologies, Inc., or CTI, Jeff and Sonia Allen, the Reverend Dr. Dallas and Nola Gatlin, Linda Gibbs, Barb Portia, Dale and Carol Hotstetler, Frederick and Odette Jones, Erica McMurtry, New Life Christian Fellowship, Scaff Furniture Carpet One, George and Kathy Scaff, Jerry and Darlene Walden, and Lionel and Sue Warnett. These are our table sponsors for tonight, so thank you all. And we also want to thank Peachy King Flower Farm for providing our floral arrangements, and Peggy Anderson and Sue Warnett for sponsoring those arrangements. And yes, round of applause for them as well. And for our in-person attendees, how was dinner tonight? It was good? Yes, yes, yes. I was trying not to fall asleep on you all, so I didn't have dessert, but I heard it was really good. So we would like to thank our chef, Larry Batiste, for providing us with this hearty meal. Now, for those of you who are online, I wish I could send you Uber Eats or DoorDash with the food that we ate tonight. But I hope you can attend next year in person when we do have that. So thank you, Larry, for providing this food tonight. And I would also like to thank Gene Doby and all of his volunteers for helping us to make this dinner possible, and thank you for the beautiful setup. So thank you, all the volunteers, Gene, if you could please stand if you're in here. Thank you this evening. So without further ado, let's take a look at what's been happening at the Gerholz Center over this last fiscal year. So if you turn your attention to the screens. So I know it's been a goal of the Gerholz Center to continue to diversify our income. And one of the ways that we have been able to diversify our income has been by applying for grant funding. So our Community Foundation grant was renewed for this year. And we're happy to announce that we received 2 additional grants. We were awarded a grant from the Nartell Family Foundation and awarded a grant from the A.G. Bishop Charitable Trust. So these organizations recognize the importance of the work that we do, and we're honored that they were able to provide us with these grants. So we'll continue to do more research on which grants that will be able to award us for the grants for what we do as far as mental health services. So we'll be looking to add more and more grants to our diversifying streams of income. You can go on to the next slide. So the Gerholz Center is now a registered organization on Amazon Smile. So how many of you, we were just talking about Amazon at my table, how many of you have Amazon at your house every day? All right. So now you don't have to hide those boxes from people. You don't have, there's no shame, no guilt when you make your purchases, because every eligible purchase that you make, a percentage of that goes to the Gerholz Center. How about that? So you are purchasing with a purpose. You're not just spending money. You're adding on to the community and being able to support the Gerholz Center. Next slide, please. I know last year I had talked about being able to provide professional development opportunities for our staff. So we have implemented all staff training days. We were able to provide the staff with continuing education credits. Just to give you the types of trainings that we have attended and participated in, we participated in professional ethics and pain management training and substance abuse and use disorder training. It's important that we continue to educate ourselves so that we can make the most impact with our clients. Next slide, please. So we have been making strides with increasing the amount of counseling hours that we have been able to provide. So this year we've been able to provide 2,296 hours of counseling. Yes. That's about a 6% increase from our last fiscal year. And these counseling hours represent us providing services to individuals, groups, families that are uninsured, underinsured, and those that have limited income. So we're definitely looking to, of course, add to our hours and being able to impact the community more. So I'm definitely proud of the work that our staff does here at the Gerholz Center. And we continue to sit with those who are suffering, but we definitely have a staff who is well-trained and compassionate and has a heart and really cares for this community. So the Gerholz Center wants to showcase some of our remarkable staff that we do have. So I would like us to watch a special video presentation right now. We have Barb Portia. She is like the Michael Jordan of the Gerholz Center.
What does that even mean?
Like she, you know how Michael Jordan, he would retire, but for the love of the game, he would come back, and that's how Barb has been to the Gerholz Center. She's the MJ. Although that she may try to retire, we just keep reeling her back in. So Barb, she's been here since. We have Barb Portia. She is like the Michael Jordan of the Gerholz Center.
What does that even mean?
Like she, you know how Michael Jordan, he would retire, but for the love of the game, he would come back, and that's how Barb has been to the Gerholz Center. She's the MJ. Although that she may try to retire, we just keep reeling her back in. So Barb, she's been here since the inception, like I said. So what would you like to say, and how has it been since you've been here from the beginning?
This is an amazing ministry, and it has been awesome to be part of it since 1982. I was thinking back, before this part of the building was even in existence. It's been wonderful to watch it unfold. I have been blessed by professional people to work with and amazing clients who have taught me a lot. And I'm just really glad to still be here.
The Gerholz Center continues to do great work, not only because of all of you, our supporters, but because of our staff too. This year has been bittersweet because an individual that has helped to make the Gerholz Center a staple in the community has finally decided to retire. So this is a public service announcement that Barb Portia has finally retired. Yes, you heard it correctly. It is official. Now notice that I didn't put up air quotes, so there's no reeling her back in this time. I think this may have been Barb's maybe third time trying to retire, so hopefully third time's a charm. I know, Barb, you're thinking to yourself, well, didn't we already have my retirement party and congratulate you already? Well, I believe that you are the GOAT of counseling. Not an animal, Barb, but you are the greatest of all time. And we want to continue to celebrate all the work that you have done. So let us celebrate you, Barb, because we are not taking no for an answer.
Hello and congratulations, Barb, on your retirement. Maybe this should be retirement 2.0. Like a lot of us, you worked, you retired, and then you worked again. I just want to congratulate you on this aspect of your life. And when I think of you, two words immediately come to mind. Those two words are excellence and integrity. In the 18 years that I worked with you, I was always impressed by your excellence, your commitment to your students when they were doing internships, your commitment to the organization, your commitment to your coworkers, but most of all, your commitment to those that you served in a counseling capacity. I always knew that you gave 100% to those people to help them to be the best that they could be. And for that, I'm truly thankful. Also, when I think of you, I think of integrity. Everything that you did with integrity and with purpose of helping others and doing it in such a way that was an honor to our profession and an honor to our Christ. We didn't always see eye to eye on every issue, but I always knew that what you did because you were driven to be a person of integrity. And so, on behalf of all the students, on behalf of your coworkers, on behalf of the hundreds of people that you assisted along the way, and on behalf of me, I want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you have done, and congratulations on this next step in your life. I hope that it is as blessed as you have been a blessing to others these last several years. Thanks, and God bless you.
I first got to know Barb when I came to the center as director in 1986. When I first came, I had some ideas about where the center could be going and what we needed to do to get there. Well, Barb, who had already been there for some years, working as a volunteer when the center first opened, also had some ideas and didn't hesitate in telling me when her ideas differed from mine. Now, this led to a degree of friction between the two of us when we first started out. But that ended when one day, at the encouragement of my friend Wendell, I told Barb that she was picking on me because I was bigger than she was. Well, the humor of that moment helped break the ice, and over the ensuing 28 years that I was there as director and then part-time myself, there developed a collegial relationship that resulted in me having a growing, deepening respect for Barb in terms of both her professionalism and her compassion. She spent a great deal of time maintaining and developing her professional skills as a counselor. She also blended that with special compassion for the clients with whom she worked. As professionals, we need to always maintain a boundary between treating our clients as friends and being there for them as counselors. Because of Barb's exceptional professionalism and compassion, she was actually able to blend those in ways like I can remember one time that there was a woman who wanted some help in organizing her belongings, and Barb went over and spent hours with her helping to organize things and even helping her to get rid of stuff that she'd been accumulating, hoarding. In those years as colleagues, we also developed a friendship. I've seen Barb befriend people, not just myself, but other people who've come to the center, making them feel comfortable and a part of things. And it's one of the gifts that she's offered so many of us. But in this friendship, people ask me sometimes who my best friend is. And I will say, my wife, of course. But there is a select group of people, of whom Barb is one, who I would say rank very close to that. And so I want to wish you congratulations on your retirement. Well done, Barb.
So Barb, I don't know where you're at in the room. If you can please come up. Oh, I see you. They pointed you out. There's no hiding from me, Barb. So we're going to give you your flowers. So I'll try not to make you cry, Barb, but
When I grow up, I want to be a model or a brain surgeon. That was from an old TV show.
So we would like to present you with this award. It says, in appreciation for your exceptional leadership and years of service. It says Hebrews 6:10, for God is not unjust. He will not overlook your work and the love you showed for his sake in serving the saints as you still do. Barb Portia, 1982 to 2022. And we have someone else that we would like to recognize this evening. Leanne. Leanne, if you can come on up. I don't know where you're at. There's no hiding in this room. People will point you out. So, no. So Leanne, she's been with us since 2017, and she started out as an intern, and then she stayed on with us after graduation as a per diem counselor. But Leanne has moved on. She is now a school social worker. Yes. So Leanne, she has a spirit of Mr. Rogers. If anyone knows Leanne, she has that kind heart and the love for God and the love for the people that she serves. So I know that you will be successful in the School of Social Work, well, not School of Social Work, but being a school social worker, because the love that you will show to these children will definitely make a difference in their lives. And we know that you will be advocating for these children and all those that you do service. So thank you for just being there for the Gerholz Center, and thank you for all your years of service with us. So as Barb mentioned in her video, that she has learned a lot from her clients, and as Lisa Horn always says, that our clients are our best teachers. So we definitely learn from them, and they help us to become better counselors. So we will now hear from some of our teachers that have helped us to become better counselors. We have letters from clients that I know it's not easy for clients to come and give their testimony. So this year we have letters that the clients have written, and the first person that I would like to bring up is Jan Paladin. She will read a client letter. Jan Paladin, please.
First of all, I did not write this letter, okay? I began receiving counseling late last fall with Jan Paladin. From the first visit, I found the counseling to be of the highest degree of professionalism and compassion. At each and every session, I am able to talk about the difficulties I am encountering in my life. Jan listens and helps me work through these difficulties. The counseling I have received and continue to receive through Gerholz has had a positive impact on my life and has helped me navigate a difficult period in my life. I would wholeheartedly recommend Gerholz Christian counseling to anyone in need of mental health services. And I say, to God be the glory.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for listening to your clients, and thank you for helping them to, during their difficult circumstances. Thank you for journeying with them. So now I would like to read a letter from one of my clients. It is through the Gerholz Center that I have been able to have some freedom and have built a closer relationship to God. I was given tools through EMDR therapy that have helped me to heal my mind, body, and spirit. I have gone into each session without any expectation and have come out different. Better than when I sat on the couch across from Erica. I believe everyone who enters into any session at the Gerholz Center is looking for the same freedom from even the smallest of wounds that have held them captive. The Gerholz Center has a wonderful, loving, and experienced counselors to journey with anyone who is willing. I receive the time, attention, and the love of Christ in each of my sessions towards the goal of balance and overcoming emotional obstacles and trauma. I am forever grateful for the Gerholz Center. Thank you. And our final testimony will be read by Amanda Carlson.
So I'd like to first start off by saying it's an honor to be up here to read these words, which are very precious, very powerful testimony from this person who was so gracious to share them with us tonight. She felt it was important for me to mention her age. She wanted everybody listening tonight to know how long she's been struggling in her life and how much she has been able to heal through counseling. She is a 75-year-old woman who courageously came in to work through a lifetime of pain. She titled her letter, "We no longer bear the burden, God does." These are her words. To all the past and present benefactors of the Gerholz Center, I give my deepest appreciation for your generosity and kindness toward helping all of us who need help in this life. What does it take to heal? My belief is the willingness of self to admit our truths and to do the necessary work of being reborn again. Someone to walk with us through our struggles, misbeliefs, traumas, brokenness, lack of self-love, and to know the person walking with us has the compassion, caring, wisdom, and faith in God to help us through all of these facts. Then we can begin to relearn new ways of being, believing, thinking, and acting. Someone we trust in is an important key element to be able to reveal ourselves. Last and most important is to believe that God is always with us. He is love, has loved us, and always will love us. This is not a human love, but divine love with no limits. He is the love I didn't know I was searching for, and he is truly the one with the power to heal. After a lifetime of living in fear, aloneness, words and actions of others, family members, which were humiliating, controlling, and fear-injecting, I became buried within myself. I was in a box, screaming and crying and could not get out. A part of me was always seeking someone to help me get out of this lower prison of negativity. I hit bottom with the final thoughts that rang through my head: kill yourself. After crying to Christ for help many times, I realized he kept me going. Somehow I believed that there was a light at the end of all of this. Those I sought out, many therapists with no help. By the grace and mercy of Christ, I found myself at the Gerholz Center, where I was given a gift, a great gift. Amanda is her name. Through her faith, knowledge, understanding, compassion, trustworthiness, patience, and so much more, he began revealing his healing power through her. She has spent years listening to my pain, my truth about myself, and the traumas that I have experienced. I then began to feel the burdens the burdens lift after talking to her and saw miracles happen. I felt I was heard and not alone anymore. The voice of kill yourself has become the past, and the present keeps saying, I am healing, I am healing, I am healing. I am finally healing. Is there work ahead? Yes. But I am coming out of my shell and experiencing glimpses of happiness that I have not felt before. Peace, finally peace. I have learned through her to stop condemning myself, to care and start loving myself more, and through encouragement, how to treat others. Through her, I have learned to work through the despair, anger, and unforgiveness that I have carried. I cry less and I smile more. In the ending, the next time you see a person smile, think that could be the one you helped. My deepest thanks again to the Gerholz Center patrons, and as a patron. The old mask is falling off and the new is being revealed. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, for helping the client to heal and helping her to live. Now, that story is not uncommon. A lot of people suffer from mental health issues. So we want to bring up our neighbors that we have here tonight and have a discussion on the impact of mental health in the community. Because again, this story is not uncommon. So I would like some of our panelists, all of our panelists, to come up this evening, along with our moderator, Erin Cheek.
see here we get this working. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking your time tonight and coming out and spending some of your time with us this evening. If you're here or if you're online, my name's Aaron. And we have our panel tonight. We have Reverend Dr. Dallas Gatlin from Carriagetown Ministries, Essence Williams from Community First, and Aaron Rubio from the United Community Addiction Network. And I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight and just spending some of your time with us and having a conversation. So first, to start it off, tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about your organization. Reverend Gatlin, we'll let you start.
Well, I think Jesus would call me little brother, probably.
Okay, right here. You might have to turn
And
your mic
they
on.
told me to turn the microphone on.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm the leader at Carriagetown Ministries. Carriagetown Ministries is a gospel rescue mission here in Flint, supported by many of you, and we're thankful for that. We're also thankful for the partnership with the Gerholz Center and all the great work that's done here. We exist to do two things well. One is to provide a clean, safe, encouraging place to land when people are desperate. And the second one is to provide, for those who are motivated, a mentored route to self-sufficiency. And that's our primary mission. If we do that well, we're doing our job, and we rely on a lot of partners, some represented in this room, to do that.
Thank you. And Miss Essence Wilson, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am Essence Wilson. I'm the co-founder and chief strategy officer at Communities First. We're a nonprofit located here in the city of Flint. We started 12 years ago, and we have a mission. I'm not going to try to remember the mission, and Glenn walked out, so I'm not going to be judged. But it's hard to remember that mission statement, right? But anyhow, we have a mission really to help people, and we do that through housing, so affordable housing, economic development. And then there's a little category called innovative programming, which means we get to have a lot of fun doing things like outdoor movies and also coming up with creative ways to meet community needs as they emerge. And I'll say that my degree is in mechanical engineering. And why am I on this stage, right? I know, right? And so the funny thing, though, is I did try to go to school to get a master's degree in counseling. And I had some natural giftings, and I had two counselors that advised that it would ruin me if I had to learn the theory, that it would be okay for me to be a non-licensed, non-practicing, but supportive member of the community and help people with different things. And you'll learn more as we continue in this conversation.
Thank you. And Mr. Aaron Rubio.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Rubio. I'm from Genesee County area. I'm the executive director for the United Community Addiction Network, or UCAN. So our mission is to unite the community resources to combat the disease of addiction. Our mission is to implement a clinical community approach to those affected by substance use disorder that can be replicated across the state, across the country, and around the world, because we're looking for answers when it comes to substance use disorder. We have a number of innovative programs going on around the community. I have some information I can hand out if anybody needs some. I'll clarify that. So we have strategic partnerships with the hospitals, law enforcement, judicial system, the schools. We work with all of those in our community, trying to help provide opportunities and resources for those affected by substance use disorder, the individuals struggling, as well as their families. The families, we do support groups and family coaching and a number of things for the families, and which hence formed our relationship with Gerholz and how they can help our families with counseling, grief share, and a number of things. So our goal is to make sure that everybody who wants help can receive the help. The parents, loved ones who need help, that they can be connected to support groups and family coaching, and just to make sure we continually not only make a movement against the disease of addiction, but find ways in our community to truly, truly address substance use disorder in a professional way.
Well, thank you. What a strong panel we have this evening. First question, a little background information to this question first is, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness every year. Now, that was 52 million in 2020 alone. Now, from the National Institute of Health, 1 in 20 U.S. adults experience a serious mental illness each year. Now, what that means is that it really interferes with their major life activities like work or relationships, and some actually experience disability due to these mental illnesses. And we also know from the NIH that 1 in 6 U.S. youths age 16 to 17 will experience a mental health disorder each year. With that as the background information, and although many people are experiencing mental health issues, there's still a stigma attached to mental illness, meaning there's negative attitudes. Sometimes clients or people feel shame. From what you have observed, from the individuals that you work with, what have you observed with the individuals that you worked with, and are they asking for help? Aaron, would you start us off?
Yes, so substance use disorder and mental health, they go hand in hand. I can tell every one of my clients who comes in or people that we are working with, substance use disorder is an issue, and usually underneath that, there's some mental health issues, some trauma, some adverse childhood experiences, something in there that's driving the use. So co-occurring disorders that happen together, we always stress to every one of our clients, have you had a mental health behavioral health assessment, screening, diagnosis, prognosis, treatment plan? And if so, how is it working? Are you accomplishing your intended outcomes? And make sure we continually address and refer out to those mental health folks. So we have a lot of strategic partners that do that around our community. We're thankful for that. And we do see the stigma there. I always stress the most courageous thing you can do is ask for help, identify your issues, and then begin to treat them, because we can live with mental illness. We just have to address it. So,
thank you, Aaron. Essence?
So this is a tough question, because I think by and large, we're becoming more and more aware of those statistics that you mentioned. I'm a part of a group called the Flint Genesee County Continuum of Care, where we're working with individuals that are experiencing homelessness. And we found, I think this is 2020 data, about 50% of the people who were experiencing homelessness also had some sort of disability. And by and large, from every conversation with every provider, many of those individuals were having mental health, had mental health concerns. And so I would say that when I'm talking to people, and this don't take this the wrong way, anyone, when I'm talking to younger people, it seems like it's becoming much more normalized. When we're talking to people who have higher income or are college educated, it's much more normal to talk about going to see your counselor or your therapist. I can think of 2 conversations last week that occurred in our office where people were casually mentioning, you know, in day-to-day conversation, you know, something related to their mental health. When we think about mindfulness and some of the initiatives that are taking place in our community, it's becoming more and more normal to have that conversation. But by the same token, there are certain populations where the stigma still exists, and if we're talking about chronic or persistent mental health issues, that stigma does still exist. And, you know, from my standpoint, we need to treat it just like physical health. You know, if you have a broken leg, there's nobody thinks twice about you going to the emergency room or going to the doctor. But for some reason, when we're talking about mental health, people take it as a negative thing. So I think the narrative is being rewritten, but there's some definite challenges there. And I'm just encouraged by those kind of day-to-day, more casual conversations that I'm hearing, where people are referencing, you know, their counselor, their therapist, or, you know, changing. Even one conversation was about changing medication, which you never would have heard that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, people talking about it just as they would talk about, you know, high blood pressure or a broken leg.
Thank you. Absolutely. Reverend.
Yeah, this is the crux of it. One of our core values at Carriagetown is that everyone you meet today is God's idea. Everybody you meet today and everyone you did meet today is a personal project of God. And everyone you met today, including yourself when you looked in the mirror, at some point in their life is in need of some kind of counseling because of an emotional difficulty or a psychological difficulty or a cognitive difficulty. So our population is just like all of us, except they're homeless right now. and they're homeless because they lost their dependable income stream and their social support structure at the same time. If they had either one of those, they wouldn't be homeless. But the devastating effects of a mental illness in a father of a family or a mother of a family just creates a burden for the children and the whole family in so many ways. It's impossible to get our arms around all that in a short discussion tonight. If you're a parent or a grandparent and you have someone who's suffering from a serious emotional, whether it's chronic or acute right now, or psychological issue, it can be devastating for that individual and for everyone who loves them. So we see that in our population. It's one of the many contributing factors, sometimes the root cause of someone's homelessness because of their mental illness and not managing it well. They can't work, they can't have relationships, and certainly their social support structure is often at risk.
Thank you for that. Well, we know that mental illness can impact every area of an individual's life. As you just said, Reverend, higher instances of unemployment. Aaron, you talked about experiencing substance use disorder. The homelessness has been addressed. And they're also more likely to repeat a grade in school. So the next question is, how have children, families, and the communities you serve been impacted by mental health issues? Essence, would you start us off?
Sure. I did a little bit of research, and in 2020, there was a study called Healthy People, and it said that people who live in lower socioeconomic conditions are at greater risk for a host of health issues, including higher rates of disease, mental illness, and premature death. And so I think we know that, right? We understand that, but being able to see that on a day-to-day basis, and I'm gonna try not to get choked up here just because of a call that I took today. You know, we're just seeing more people asking for help. And I'm reminded of one of the letters that was read earlier, where the woman had tried several different counselors before she found the one that worked for her. And that's what we're seeing is a demand for a higher quality of care, but not necessarily the internal resources to find that care. And so that's why Gerholz is so important, because you provide that high quality of care, and we have to continue to advocate and rally resources, because if we don't, you know, these are our neighbors, these are our friends, these are our family members, and you know, we're gonna be in serious trouble as a community, and we're already seeing some of that. The other thing that I would say is, like, there are huge shifts in terms of, you know, the mental health needs, and I don't know that it's maybe more pervasive as much as we're more aware of it, and people are more open about what their needs are. You know, it's difficult to keep people in housing if they're in a mental health crisis, but seems like there's always a shortage of mental health professionals that truly care and are truly able to meet the needs of people. There are several, again, I'm not a social worker, I am not a counselor, but I have several residents, tenants in our housing communities that call me because I'll just sit there and listen, right? And to give them an hour of time or 30 minutes of time just to hear them out. And I had one lady who's just said, I need someone to sit with me while I cry. She just needed someone to be there for her that wasn't going to judge her, that was going to listen to what was going on and let her vent and get it all out. And so, in Dallas, you talked about it. You know, we're talking about people that are just the same as each and every one of us, but perhaps some of us just have more resources to deal with it and more connections to be supportive.
Yeah, thank you. Reverend, any thoughts on how children, families that you serve have been impacted by mental health issues?
Yeah, again, a big question. I will give you an example. Just last week, Dante and Brittany, our men's director and women's and family center director, received a call and intercepted a family in crisis, one who reported as being the mom of 3 kids, I think 12, 8, and 6 maybe in that area. And so they needed help, but the response that we could make to them was not necessarily received well. They were reported to us. I'm being careful how I share this story. but the mom was really grandma, and the mother was probably living a life in the middle of addictions is our best guess. And the kids were victims of this whole situation. Bad circumstances, bad decisions, it looked like, by grandma and mom and probably others in their life. And so a mental health issue in a guardian creating a prison for kids, and they're really a prisoner of the situation. They love the people who are taking care of them. They don't want to see anything happen to them, but yet the kind of care that those kids are getting compared to what other kids are getting is quite different. And so we're in a place where if we can intervene for a moment and something wonderful can happen, maybe a big difference can be made. But the effects of mental health issues on children and families can just be devastating.
Yes, it can. Thank you, Reverend. Aaron.
Yeah, so I'll kind of echo those same sentiments. In my world, if somebody gets afflicted with the disease of addiction, the whole family suffers. The parents, the kids, the whole family begins to suffer. So, and I truly believe that a lot of it is based on the mental health, addressing that first, and we can go backwards and do that. So when we say mental health specifically, mental health that leads to addiction, that leads to my world, and we have all types of families, everybody from children all the way up to grandparents that run the gamut with those that are affected. And it definitely puts a strain on raising children and the structure for children that's so important. So in my world, most of my folks struggle with mental health. We stress to get it checked by a professional. We do some, part of our clinical community approach I speak of is the clinical. We need the therapy. We need the clinical side of that. A recovery coach is the lived experience, the community side of that. You get both sides of it. So we always like to see a clinical community approach to that to get it addressed, come to a resolution, be able to make change.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Next question. We're transitioning a little bit here. And a little background information on this. About 2 in 5 people who are incarcerated, we're talking about incarcerations, have a history of mental illness. Now, some law enforcement agencies have developed programs to help those who are suffering from mental illness, when they are called to the scene. I believe this was pioneered by Australia and the UK, if I remember correctly. And we know that the city of the Detroit Police Department is also sending social workers onto these scenes to help. The question is, maybe what have your interactions or observations been with law enforcement in situations involving people with mental illness? We'll start with Aaron.
So we work with a number of law enforcement offices. The Genesee County Sheriff's Department and their GHOST team is kind of the most prevalent, the highly used one. Every time they do an operation that involves human trafficking, sex trafficking, drugs, whatever the case may be, we're always on standby. They got UCAN on standby. And when someone comes in and they've been afflicted with addiction or struggle with substance use disorder, we're able to take them. And if it's truly an oppression where a young lady or young man is being oppressed, meaning made to sell and do drugs, sell their bodies, do things for somebody else, we'll take that person under an alias and take them and get them some help. Some other things we do when there's a situation live somewhere, they'll call us and we'll deploy our mobile crisis unit, which is made up of trauma-informed therapists, counselors, RNs, peer coaches, law enforcement, and we'll go there and address and try and start a communication to help decipher between, is this a drug-induced situation or is this a mental health situation, so we can better derive the outcome of what is the necessity that we need to take action here and what do we need to do. So we are always on call with law enforcement. We work with most law enforcement in Genesee County. We do a lot with the sheriff. So inside of jails, we have our Beyond the Walls initiative, we call it. We go inside the walls to begin with, and we begin to do discharge planning and make sure that these folks upon discharge have their connectivity to insurance, for one, mental health, behavioral health services, peer coach, digital therapy, a discharge plan, housing, pathway to apprenticeship program we're working on. So we try and get inside the walls so that we can properly launch a Beyond the Walls initiative with these folks. And so that is interaction with, the jail population, maybe not directly law enforcement, but they are the parts where we can get them. And I like to call them, like I do it on Mondays in Lapeer, and I call them my captive audience, right? They can't run. And they only, I know some of them come because they get a half day off for coming off of their sentence. It's cool. We're going to strategize. We're going to work on plan. You're going to bring your journal down. We're going to have something fruitful for you. What you choose to do with it, that's on you. But we hope you follow a plan of action to ensure a safe, successful integration in society. And not only that, but then have a future that you're looking for with priorities and goals. And like I say, a pathway to apprenticeship program that we offer as well.
Thank you, Aaron. Wow, right on the front lines with that. Thank you. Essence.
So I'll start by sharing a quick story. Hopefully it'll be a quick story. I only have a few minutes, right? My husband and I went to an event, and it was, everything was going well, and I felt that need to leave. And I know that some of you have had that moment where something's off, something's not right, I need to go. And so we left, and we went and picked up our daughter, who you've heard the pleasure of hearing a few moments ago. My apologies, but she thought she was going to be on stage with mommy, and it didn't work out that way. And so we went to pick her up, and she was ready to go as soon as we got there. She said, let's go, let's go, let's go. So now her and I are on the same page somehow that we had to leave at that moment. And we were driving down Court Street. It was about 10 o'clock, and there was a gentleman laying in the middle of the road. And so we had to circle the block in order to get to him. And we come around, and we used our vehicle to block traffic from hitting him. And, with a 3-year-old in the car, you're cautious at the same time you want to be helpful. And so Glenn is talking to him out of the window and got him to get himself up. And he's standing on the side of the road, and they're having a conversation, and we're engaging with him. He has a head wound. And he said, I just don't want to live anymore. I can't take it. I can't do this. And he was laying in the middle of the road to commit suicide. And so as we talked with him, we found out that he was experiencing homelessness, and he was just in a state of despair. Nothing was working out in his favor. Nothing was going the way that he wanted it to go. And he didn't know what else to do. So he was going to end it all. And as we talked with him, he made a comment of, it's good to know that people still care. And so we didn't have to be specially trained to do anything. We just did what felt like the right thing to do. And so as Glenn's talking to him, I made a phone call to the street outreach team, which is able to be deployed in our community to help people that are experiencing homelessness, meet them where they are. They can provide transportation, resources, and things like that. And it was about 10:05 at this point, and the gentleman had just gotten off work at 10 o'clock and was just making his way home. And he said, if you need me, I'll come back out. I said, okay, well, stand by. The conversation seems to be going a little bit better, and we called 911. But we waited until, of course, the police officers got there because we wanted to make sure that he was treated with dignity and respect. And the officer got out, and she said, oh, hey, Mr. Such and Such, and he was known to her. And he was having some cognitive issues, and I think he had, dementia at the same time. All of these other things were happening in his life. And I wasn't sure whether or not to be comforted by the fact that she knew who he was, or if I should be suspicious because maybe she wouldn't take this time to be as seriously as it needed to be. And so once we were confident that he was going to get the care needed, and the ambulance had come and they were starting to care for him and take him, we were able to leave. But that was one of those moments when I had never been, suspicious of law enforcement or showing up to help someone in crisis. But it really did just make me think, what if this person assumed that he was aggressive, or they didn't take him seriously and they weren't able to help him. And I was encouraged, I think it was yesterday actually. I was on Facebook. Don't hate me if you're not on social media, right? But it's a necessary evil sometime. And so I was on Facebook, and someone had posted a picture of a Genesee County sheriff with a social worker who was also wearing a vest that said social worker on it. And the person wrote a whole Facebook post because they were surprised and shocked and didn't know that this program existed in our community, where the sheriff's office and social workers are being deployed in certain situations under certain circumstances to help people. So I'm just encouraged that we're going to get it right, and having the millage for Genesee Health Systems and having some additional funds to do some creative things will really, really be a support to those that are experiencing mental health challenges.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that story. What a powerful story. Thank you for that. Reverend, any thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of things come to mind. Like back in the 70s when I was in undergrad school and dinosaurs were in the land, there were still mental health hospitals, and there were some horror stories, but there were also some very important places where people got treated for very, very significant mental illnesses. And when we did away with those in the 1980s, we replaced them with nothing, right? And so there's a huge hole there, especially for acute episodes where someone gets a little violent when they're experiencing a crisis. And so, you know, can they come to a homeless shelter? Not if they significantly present themselves as a danger to themselves or others. Can they go to Hurley? Oftentimes that's where they wind up, and you should applaud Hurley for that. But then Hurley has some discharge rules that as soon as they're calmed down and ready to go, they have to discharge them, and they can't keep them forever. They'd fill the whole hospital with mental health patients. So there's an acute need right now, and we struggle with this all of the time, sometimes taking in residents that are probably residents that we shouldn't try to manage. We get good help in the community, but there are holes that aren't filled that need to be filled. One experience we had, and I'll be brief with this, was a gentleman, a young man who kept breaking into our donation center where we process clothes and things, and we caught him. And my wife was even with me one day when we tracked him down. We were doing Memorial Day garden planting. And, you know, we told him, like, you can come and get these clothes for free, so you don't have to break windows, you know. But this went on and on and on. And, you know, even we get to the point where they're like, I guess we should call the police. You know, it's breaking and entering, and he's destroying property. But there's an officer at the University of Michigan Police Department named Mark. I'll just mention his first name. And Mark is a masterful technician with people who are suffering from mental illnesses like this young man obviously was. And with the Flint police and with Mark's help, you know, cooperating with the Flint police, there wasn't an arrest made, a typical arrest where this person who commits B&Es goes to jail. And he ended up working his way through the mental health court instead of the regular court. And we just have a tiny bit of good people doing those kind of things, and we need many more.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. Next question. The Gerholz Center has had the opportunity to partner with your organizations. Can you speak to the work and any impact it may have had on your community? Reverend, we'll start with you.
How much time do I have?
Well, they say 2 minutes, but I'm not going to interrupt
you.
Yeah,
I could name, which I won't, 3 staff people and about a half a dozen residents that I know of that have received counseling at the Gerholz Center. Also, classes have been led by your team here, Grief Share, and for the 6th time I had to be reminded of the name of that class, and I know it, but I have cognitive issues of my own, I'll say. Yeah, the dinosaur syndrome. And then several years before that, a really valuable class on therapeutic listening. And Andy, I don't know if you remember that or if you were involved with that, but the other piece is just Andy Armstrong, just being a friend of Carriagetown for so long, providing counseling and mentoring and you know things that we didn't know what was going on in those sessions, but it was always progress, and I thank Andy for that.
Thank you. Essence.
So I think we were first introduced to Gerholz by the Scaff family, And we were thrilled when Erica arrived, and she reached out and she was so excited and ready to roll. And we met with her and talked, and she actually ended up doing some listening sessions with some of our residents at different properties to see what they were interested in, what they wanted to do, and how she could be helpful, and how the team here could be helpful. And it was unfortunate that the pandemic came about, and we had to delay that getting started, but I'm hopeful that we can get back to that. The other thing that I will share is we've referred several of our clients here, and it's really important to have places like Gerholz because, traditionally Genesee Health System has treated the, moderate to severely mentally ill, and a lot of times we're talking about those populations, but there's just as many and probably more individuals that are just having a hard time right now, that are experiencing situational or episodic seasons of depression or just challenges and difficulties. It's not always a diagnosis that we're talking about. Sometimes it's just, I'm having a really rough season right now, and they need to talk to somebody. And I'm just grateful that you all are here and that you're equipped to work with those clients, because we can't get them in a lot of places because they don't meet the criteria. So we're grateful for that.
Thank you, Essence. Aaron, don't pay attention to the clock. Erica will write me up tomorrow. That's fine. I'll take the write-up. Yeah, please.
Yes, so in my world, again, with the world of substance use disorder, a lot of times it ends in death. And that's a reality in my world. When I talk to a lot of loved ones who've lost someone, they've always say that, man, just a typical grief share or a group, it doesn't connect with some of the thoughts, feelings, emotions that we have when we lose somebody to addiction. And me not experiencing it or seeking that out, I've heard it for a long time. So finally I said to some moms that are around and part of our overdose awareness crew, like, well, we should try and create something, right? And so we reached out, and I got connected with Erica. We kind of talked about it. We created a 10-week pilot program where we talked to loved ones who had lost someone. What were they missing? What were the emotions? What were some of the topics that weren't covered that you think would be beneficial? We roundtabled that for a couple of months. Then we created a curriculum. Waited a few weeks. We created a curriculum. Erica and her staff, Barb and Amanda, were with her in that. And so we created it, and then we held a grief share group. We've done it one class, and it was a 10-week class, and we had 12 people, 10 people. Again, this Zoom thing and people not coming and all these things complicates things a little bit, but it was effective. I think we were 50-50 maybe on in-person and those on Zoom, but very effective. It worked great. They liked it. Is it a work in progress? Yeah, it's fluid. We're working on it to try and maybe pull out some of the content that wasn't as effective as we thought, or put in this picture or this scenario, or just kind of work that around. So what we decided to do for this next group, which starts Wednesday, is just kind of run it the same. We're going to run it back the same way we did it, get 2 classes of rebuttal, and then see what we need to tweak or change and continually evolve going forward with that, let alone sending numerous of our clients to call Gerholz for some counseling, some therapy. They got a great staff, and so we're always recommending people to come here for the therapy choice as well. So it's been a pleasure working with all of them, and so long, Barb. But other than that, it's been a good journey with Erica. She's full of energy, and she's very organized. She's very on it, so I like it. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Well, that is our time. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, taking time. Yes, please. Absolutely. So, yes, thank you for coming. That ends our panelist discussion. Erica, I believe it's back to you. Is that right? Thank you.
What a rich and important conversation. Don't we have some phenomenal partners? Yes. We can't just do this work alone. It takes a village, and thank you for being our neighbors, and thank you for being in our village. And we're looking to, I know COVID, impacted some of the work, but We've hired a new staff member, Andra, and she's hoping to get out into the community so that we can strengthen our partnerships with you all. So we look forward, and we will definitely be reaching out to you after the banquet so that we can continue on with the work that we're doing and improve some of the work that we're doing. So thank you all for allowing us to hear your stories and sharing some of the stories about how mental health has impacted your organization. So thank you once again. Now, I would like to bring up our fearless leader, Dick Scaff. He is the chair of our work group.
Good evening. Somehow, some way, I have once again been chosen to be the one to ask for money for the Gerholz Center for Christian Counseling. I heard a new word in our last meeting. They said I was voluntold as opposed to volunteered to have this duty. I hear many people say they don't like to ask people for money, but I'm choosing to look at it as an opportunity for you to partner with us because of the great work being done at the center. This makes it a lot easier when you have such a great service to offer. Before I give my pitch to donate to the center, I want to take a moment to talk about Al Kogel. Last year at this banquet, I had the opportunity to recognize Barbara Kogel, who had passed away shortly before the banquet. Her contributions were many, and the Gerholz Center for Christian Counseling was named after her parents. Tonight, I felt it would be appropriate to recognize her husband, Al Kogel, who passed away in August. I have looked up to Al Kogel for a long time for many reasons. I love the way that he prioritized his life: God, family, business, community, fun. Those were not just words. That's the way he lived his life. There are two words that I think of when I think of Al Kogel: generosity and humility. He was incredibly generous and very humble in his generosity. The Gerholz Center for Christian Counseling was a benefactor of that generosity. To put it simply, Barbara and Al's contributions to the center are the reason we have a center. When I reflect on their passing, I feel it's our turn to take the baton and carry on the support of the ministry. I look at it not, again, as an obligation, but as an opportunity to continue to help people with their mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. I realize that some of you have already made up your mind as to how much you will give tonight. But my hope and my prayer would be that you would consider increasing your gift this year. Why, you might say? Well, I have come up with the top 10 reasons. You've heard of David Letterman's top 10. If you watch SportsCenter like I do, you see the top 10 plays. These are the top 10 reasons to give a little extra. Number 10, to honor Barb Horcha and her decades of dedication to counseling and mentoring at the center. Number 9, this is our main fundraiser that we have for the year. That's it. No other events or golf outings or auctions. This is it. Number 8, to allow the center to continue to develop partnerships with our other agencies in our community. Number 7, this was mentioned earlier, between 20 to 26% of American adults are experiencing mental illness. There is a great need out there. Number 6, for children ages 5 to 17, suicides have climbed by about 50% from 2011 to 2020. Number 5, although our primary focus is Genesee County, we have been able to provide counseling services to people throughout the whole state of Michigan using telehealth. Number 4, your donation helps people to improve their functioning, such as getting out of bed, going to work, and doing things they enjoy. Number 3, to honor Mr. Al Kogel and his support of the center from the very beginning. Number 2, this is important. We have a great team of counselors and leaders and supervisors. We want to be able to retain and fairly compensate our counselors and staff, especially in this inflationary environment. And number 1, to enable more clients the opportunity to get help who can't afford counseling. So. I would encourage you to increase your giving this year if possible. So please prayerfully consider increasing your support this year. If this is your first time, feel very comfortable that your dollars will be used wisely. Erica and her staff have proven to be wise stewards of the money that we raise. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your willingness to participate in this wonderful ministry, and thank you for your generous donations.
Thank you, Dick, for those top 10 reasons that you all should give more. So let me tell you some ways that you can give more. So for those of you who love technology, if you have a smartphone, you can text to give. So you can text the number 810, you can see it on the screen, 810-255-4574. And you can, for example, if you want to give 500, you can type in 500 in the word center. 500 in the word center to 810-255-4574. So once you send the text, you'll receive a reply that will ask you to create an online giving account. Just click on the link and it will redirect you to our online giving page. Now, for those of you who already gave or have given by text before, you can just text that number, 810-255-4574, the amount and center, and then you'll get an automatic reply saying thank you for your contribution. Now, if you don't want to text, you may also go to our website at gerholz.org. Gerholz.org. You can click on the donate button, and you can make a pledge for the 2022-23 fiscal year. You can sign up to make a reoccurring donation, and you can also make a one-time donation. Now, for those of you who want to do it the good old-fashioned way, you can send in a check if you would like, make all checks payable to the Gerholz Center, and you can even contact our office. Sandy would love to talk to you all. So yes, 810-234-0500. Sandy will be the one answering the calls, and she always answers with a smile. Our address is up there, so you can also, again, mail the checks to 746 South Saginaw Street, Flint, Michigan, 48502. Now, for those of you who are in person here, everyone at their table should have gotten a pledge card. So these are the forms that you can actually complete. So depending on how you would like to give, you can include your credit card information on here. You can write a check, again, make a check payable to the Gerholz Center. You can put in a pledge. However you would like to give, just complete this form. Now, our staff members, if our staff members can raise our hands, staff people. So our staff members will actually come around and collect these forms from the table. And if you have any questions, the staff members can also answer those questions for you if you have questions about completing this form. So if staff members, if you can kind of get up and walk around to see if anyone has any questions. We have someone over here that has a question right here. Can the staff member pick up the check right now? Yeah, so they're gonna come around and they're gonna pick they're gonna pick up those contributions right now. So yes, they will be the ones that will be collecting them. So again, staff members, raise your hand, staff people. raise your hand. They're going to come around and collect them from everyone's table. So no fear, we're around. Again, wave them down if you have any questions. Now, while you are completing your forms, it's time for some giveaways. Yes, time for you to win some free stuff. Now, you all see the lovely centerpieces on your table, right? So since we're continuing to celebrate Barb Horscher years of service, if you share a birthday with Barb, I'm telling your business, everybody's gonna know your birthday now. Barb's birthday is the 4th of July. So if your birthday is on or near the 4th of July, you get that centerpiece. You get to take that home. Do we have some winners tonight? Who are the winners at the table? All right, Mary, we got a winner at the table? Who's the winners at the table this evening? Who's the closest birthday to the 4th of July? All right. So, did everyone figure out who's the winner tonight? Okay. Now we do have some more giveaways now. All right. So who else is feeling lucky tonight? Is anyone feeling lucky in the chat tonight too? Show us some hands in the chat if you're feeling lucky. I'm not Oprah, so I can't give everything away. I wish I could, though. So next, we are giving away a Kroger gift card. As Dick mentioned, inflation is high, right? So we're hoping that you can spend a little something at Kroger. And don't forget to sign up for Kroger Community Rewards. The Gerholz Center is actually an organization. So again, when you purchase at Kroger, you can, any eligible purchases that you make, a percentage of that can go to the Gerholz Center. So you have some information in your programs in regards to how you can sign up the Kroger Community Rewards. Now, I did do a random name draw for the attendees. Do I have Cheryl Cottrell here this evening? All right, come on down. You are the winner of our $25 Kroger gift card. Yeah, oh good, I'm glad you do shop at Kroger. Thank you for coming this evening. Everyone, give her a round of applause. All right, so are we feeling lucky online tonight? All right, so our lucky winner online tonight is Felicia Moore. Felicia Moore, give us a hand clap for Felicia Moore. She is going to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So yes, again, we are registered with Amazon Smile. So Felicia and the rest of our attendees, don't forget to shop with a purpose. Sign up for Amazon Smile. And Gerholz Center for Christian Counseling is an organization that's registered to receive a percentage of your purchases. Now, I would like to acknowledge some people that made this evening possible. So I would like to thank Pastor Joseph and Josh for allowing us to stream this event for our online viewers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that you all had a busy week, so I don't know where Pastor Joseph is, but Josh, if you can ask for the day off tomorrow, I don't know if he'll give it to you, or Pastor Joseph, maybe you could take the day off tomorrow, but you know, you're the boss, I'm not, so. but I advocate for self-care and mental health. So, so I also want to thank our work group. So if our work group can please stand, for those of you who are around our work group, Frederick, Sue, Linda, Mary, Dick, Peggy, Evelyn, and Linda, thank you for helping us to continue on with our mission. And finally, I'd like to thank the Gerholz staff. So can all of our Gerholz staff members stand up? So we have Andra, Lisa's not here. Thank you, Lisa. Amanda, Sandy, Aaron, Jan. We have a phenomenal staff, so thank you all and all that you do. So as we close this evening, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Did you all enjoy yourselves? Now, I know if you would have said no, that's okay, because I'm a counselor. I can take feedback now. But I would like to just close with some words from Mr. Rogers. So Mr. Rogers gave a commencement speech at Marquette University. And in his speech, he said, when we look for the best in the person that we are with for the moment, we are doing what God does. So in loving and appreciating our neighbor, we are participating in something truly sacred. So I'd like to thank you all for participating in this sacred moment. It's a full circle moment, because as the Gerholz Center sees the best in our clients and shows that love and compassion for our kindness and kindness that we show to our clients, I'd like to thank you all for seeing us and being compassionate towards us and being able to be our supporters and being able to be our neighbors for this evening, because you all make a world of difference for the Gerholz Center. So I want you to give yourselves a round of applause this evening. So thank you for gracing us with your presence this year. I hope to see you again next year. I forgot to mention that we also have some pies for sale. Where's Jean? So we have whole pies that we will be selling. I know the food was good tonight, right? So Jean will be bringing out some full pies, not just the slices, and we'll be selling pies for $10. So all of your contributions, if you want to pay more, you could pay more for the pie. It's up to you, however you feel led. But you can, I'll have Jean to stand over here at this table at the end. So if you are interested in a pie, you can talk to Jean, and it's $10 per pie. So thank you all. Thank you all again for attending this evening, and God bless.
It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're growing inside, and when you wake up ready to say, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's such a good